Yeah, now I welcome Maša Cvetko, our second guest. We all are role models for our children, so I suppose this was also one of the main points in desealing an area in front of a kindergarten in Ljubljana. And as I personally am a father of a 3-year-old child who will soon also attend the kindergarten, I'm especially looking forward to the next input. But please, Maša, tell us more about this now in your presentation.
Thank you, Michael. Do you hear me and see the presentation? Yes. Okay. So as you already mentioned in the introduction, I'm a co-founder of Prostorož. It is non-profit urban design studio, and we are dealing with the social and environmental issues that Slovene cities are facing with. We are a team that consists of 3 architects, 2 social scientists, and psychologists. So as urban planners, we feel the responsibility to that we determine also the way how urban space will develop in the future. So how will we move through the cities in the future, where the social connections will happen, and also how will we deal with adaptation to climate changes. So even though that climate change is mostly up to national and regional and municipal strategies, we still believe that as NGOs we can add to this, especially in a way that we can deal with involvement of inhabitants, so of raising awareness of then with different research and also with pilot projects. So as such, I will present 2 pilots where we tried to respond to this task. So I will speak about comfortable streets, how we call them. They are very, it's a concept that is very similar to different also typologies of the streets that we know from other cities. But what is common for most of these streets is that usually the traffic is not really prohibited there, but on the other side, the social life is very intense. So as pedestrian, you feel very safe and comfortable there. So you see that pedestrian is on the first secure position. So we also put together some criteria how to plan this kind of streets, which I will also show through these 2 projects. I will not explain them now, but you will see them, which are these criteria. But to go a bit back, maybe just to explain you how we came to this kind of project or to this pilot is because as NGO, most of or half, maybe more than half of our projects are also financed through different tenders. A lot of them European, but sometimes also municipal. So this project especially was our response to the call from municipality of Ljubljana, where they were searching for ideas how to respond to climate change adaptation, so to different kind of actions. And our first idea was actually to because it's not a big budget, we wanted to make more raising awareness campaign where we would ask people to change 1 parking lot for a green space. But then when we were going deeper, which kind of suitable spaces would be the most appropriate, so which people to ask to be involved, we realized that, or we were also, because it's such a small area, 1 parking lot, we were also asking ourselves, where would such a small green space make any sense? because maybe on a large street full of parkings, one green space doesn't mean much. But then on the other hand, if you look at the entrances of different public buildings, we realize that kindergartens are maybe one of these spaces where it really makes sense. So we went through the analysis, first of all the locations of the kindergartens and what kind of accessibility is there. And we realized that the situation is many times quite alarming. So some kindergartens don't even have trottoir in front. In this time of morning arrivals and then departures, parents who bring the children by car, they park really just in front of the entrances. So those children who are coming there by foot sometimes cannot even access it, or those by bikes, the bike racks are parked all over. So yes, we decided to, first of all, because we needed the strong support also from the principals of the kindergarten to collaborate in this project, we made some interviews with the locations which we found the most alarming, and then also discussed with municipalities, presented the one of selection, and then discussed which of these locations should we choose for our pilot project. And the municipality, the principals, they were all very interested in this, and municipality as well. When they saw these photos, they agreed that one project is not enough. So they also ordered us implementation plans for other two locations. But first of all, I will show this one, which was a part of this pilot project, why we choose this kindergarten. As you can see, there are cars. This is the entrance. These are parked cars. And in the morning, the situation is even worse. There is no trottoir. But at this time, when we started speaking with the principal, the street was already in the stage of renovation of the sewage system. So they already changed the sewage system and covered it with gravel, which in a one way limited us because we couldn't dig again the soil. But from the other side, we were lucky that this location has, as Chiara was showing before, this location has a very gravel soil. So it's very permeable, and we did not have the problems of creating maybe rain gardens or changing the structure of the soil for the reason of water permeability. So what we managed to speak with this constructor company, that instead of putting asphalt back on the location where it used to be before, that in 2 weeks we created a new traffic regime project. So we defined where the asphalt for the traffic is necessary. And all the rest, they agreed to put on these grass pavers, which were there temporary, because we had a few more months to deal with the project. So we somehow still needed to do observations. So how people come to the kindergarten. There is a post office also on the other side of the street, where people walk, where people leave cars, and what are the timings. And so this, in a way, we could do in this summertime. So we did observations. We did some interviews and questionnaires with parents, with teachers in the kindergarten. So on the basis of this, we saw what they want, what they prefer to have, more green spaces or more equipment or whatever. And in this basis of this, we created implementation plans. And then in the autumn, the implementation also happened. So more than half of these pavers were removed, and we planted almost 500 plants. Children were also collaborating in this action. From these pavers, we created 2 large benches, one for the kindergarten, the other one for the post office, and we put bike racks, and that was actually all we finished with our budget. So how we deal with this project, going through a verification criteria for comfortable streets, is that we try to slow down the traffic with widening, with narrowing the road, traffic road, adding greenery. Then we changed the traffic regime. We had now the entrance of the kindergarten was also exposed, so that with a bench and bike racks, etc. We were through this. We also encouraged sustainable mobility, so it was more pleasant now to come to the kindergarten by walking or biking. And with more permeable paving, we improved also the soil permeability. So in case of the heavy rains, the water goes into the soil directly. This was, okay, one more thing. So what we were not expecting, and it was quite shocking. We realized this situation very, very soon, even before the opening. So to protect the plants, we had budget only for a very low fence, which was red and with red ropes. So we hoped that, okay, people will see this and this will be enough. But unfortunately, we did not take into account this kind of culture driving. We are still fighting with municipality to make the proper fence, which will protect these green areas. And they are now willing to do it, but it takes a lot of time. So for us, and also maybe if there are some planners in the audience, for us it was very good lecture to put proper fence to protect the plants. So this kindergarten, which I said that municipality agreed to order implementation plans, was also one kindergarten. You can see this is the entrance. It's again very inaccessible. In front there are full of cars, bikes, planters. Also the street, even though there is prohibited to park on all the street, you have cars on both sides. 80% of total this area is covered, even by cars or by road, which is the same traffic surfaces. So this is the current situation. So we have only 3% of green surfaces, this small piece of grass. Pedestrian surfaces are 20%, even though people are already now walking in the middle of the street because it is not possible sometimes to access the trottoirs. And the same with water permeable as green spaces. So what was our project? The first thing was to remove everything, all the surface layer, and deep as much as possible. So at least 80 centimeters in the areas where we will put the green surfaces. So as Chiara was explaining, for the reason to improve the soil permeability. And then everything put in the same level so that there will be no more barriers for pedestrians or cars. So first clean. Then we defined where the route for the traffic is going. We narrowed again this route on 3 and 3.5 meters, which is necessary for the for these trucks for the garbage that are picking up the garbage. And as you can see, so this traffic area from 80% was lowered to 45% already. We also left a few parking spots for the kindergarten and for institution, which is dealing with handicapped people. So they need kind of a parking for driving them to the other places, and one parking spot for the car sharing. So yes, all as much as possible space around this street, we wanted to make green in a sense of either creating rain gardens or using these grass pavers so that we get as much as possible permeable areas, surfaces. Why is this permeability here so important? So the water from this street, as well as from many others from this area, goes into the big canal sewage system on the main road. And this main road, where whenever there is heavy rain, it gets stuffed with water. So it's full of water, and because too much water comes into the sewage system. And even though this street will not help much to hold this system, but if there were more this kind of pilots introduced in the area, we could solve this situation. So yes, as I already mentioned, we were using also on all pedestrian zones, we were using permeable pavements where water still can go through. And also we were using these pavers for slowing down the traffic. So wherever there is the entrance in these high blocks of flats, we created kind of the square, which is slowing down the traffic and gives the pedestrians this feeling of more safe zone. At the end, we also added trees and public equipment. So again, verification criteria, I will not go through, I don't think I have enough time, but at the end you can see how much more for lowering down the traffic surfaces, how much more of green spaces, pedestrian surfaces, and water permeable surfaces we gained. So this is still project on paper. We are hoping that municipality will go into implementation as well. It's not that easy as the first one, of course, and for us. I mean, yes, we can show through this kind of project how that also street design can play an important role in tackling climate crisis. But still, we would like that this kind of project become systematic, so that whenever municipalities renovating infrastructure under the street, that they would implement this kind of principles for then creating the new design of the street. But for this, we are seeing that also it needs a lot of effort and a lot of education still, not only in urban planners and decision makers, but also in engineers and constructors. But that at the end, it all depends on political will of city authorities, if they want to accept this kind of strategy or not. So that's all from my part. If you have any questions, please write them in a Padlet. Thank you.